Representative Bernardy, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me here.
Tell us about the area that you represent, District 41A, and some of the issues that are important to your constituents.
Well, I grew up in our community, and I'm so proud to have the opportunity to represent the residents of our district. It includes New Brighton, Fridley, and Spring Lake Park. I grew up in Fridley, attended Spring Lake Park schools, lived most of my adult life in Fridley, and now live in New Brighton. So it's just like, if you could make the perfect district, this is a great district for me because I'm so honored to represent the newcomers to our district, my friends that I used to, and my neighbors, as well as their parents. So there's a lot of history that really helps me in serving our community. And the things that our community cares a lot about is education for our kids. We really value our students. Our communities pass their referendums because they value education. And another area is the environment. And Springbrook Nature Center is beloved by our community, and so many people in our region use it. And that was what was so great when I chief authored the $5 million bonding bill for Springbrook. It has become a reality, and if people go up there, they can enjoy the new facilities. And then thirdly, being able to have a good job and be able to get a fair wage and be able to get ahead. And so our community is about opportunity. My parents moved to our community when I was just a baby. And they were seeking their American dream for their family. They were teenage wed parents, so their life was not easy. And through them, I learned about the importance of a good job, a good home, and a good education.
How did you get interested then in running for public office?
Well, our kids were in school and were facing major cuts in the opportunities that our kids were going to be getting. They were considering cutting, like Phi-Ed programming, arts, music, things that really help round out a child's education, and then in addition, raising class sizes. So as a parent, I got involved and I organized a group of people that were made up of seniors in our community, senior citizens, students in our community, teachers, people from the schools, and just parents. It was an amazing group of people who we came together and we actually rolled up our sleeves, learned about the budget, figured out what was needed, and we came down to the Capitol. We held press conferences, we went to hearings, and I was told they'd never seen anything like that before out of parents and community members really fighting for their students and their classrooms. And so then after that, the legislator in our district retired, Alice Johnson. She was a representative and a senator. And then people said, Connie, you ought to run. And at first I had the kids and I was like, oh, how could I make that work? And I said no like 3 times. And then I thought, that'd be something to do when my kids got older. But I ended up, my parents stepped in and said they'd help my husband and I and spend some time in the summer with us. And the long story short is I ran and I absolutely loved advocating and helping our community.
And you were elected in 2000, resigned the seat in 2006, but came back in 2013. What brought you back to the House?
Well, I had served 3 terms, which was 6 years, and I absolutely loved it. And as I talked about, I had kids, and I didn't want to miss out on their lives. And so at first it was an adventure, and it was a great experience for us. And then it was going to be college time and looking for college, and our kids are going to be leaving for college. And I wanted to be there and be more accessible. So I ended up what I thought was retiring. And then 6 years later, they were in college, and the district, they did redistricting. And my kids are like, Mom, when people in the community were asking me, you should run again. And they go, Mom, you should. You absolutely loved it. And I said, I know, but I loved you more because they really weren't that fond of it back then. But they had a great experience because I brought them down here and made them a part of like everything, the campaigns and part of legislating. And my daughter actually thinks when I was a citizen lobbyist for our community, not a lobbyist, I was just a citizen parent. She stood at the press conference and I held her up and she was like 5 years old and she goes, please save our schools. So she thinks she did save our schools and it's so sweet and I still have that picture in my office today.
A statement on your member page says you love bringing people together and your career has been creating community partnerships. And considering the current political climate, how important are these sentiments?
Well, it's more important now than ever. And my career has been creating community partnerships around things we care about, a lot about education and schools, kids being healthy and having healthy communities and healthy youth development. Well, now in the legislature, we need people that their passion and their experience is bringing people together because it is so divisive. And my experience at the legislature, out of 6 terms, 5 of them have been in the minority. But every session, I get something important done for our community. And that's because I really try to work together with people. So a lot of things aren't partisan down here, and it's important that we try as much as we can to work together. And in fact, last year, I was the only one in the Minnesota House until the last day. So there were 2 of us that were not in the majority, so we don't get to pick and choose who bills get heard. But I was only one of 2 bills from the minority party, the Democratic Party, DFL, Democratic Farmer Labor Union, who actually got their bills passed off the House floor. And that was out of about 150 bills. So I was proud of that, and I'm so honored to represent our community.
You're the DFL lead on the House Transportation and Regional Governance Policy Committee. Mm-hmm. What do you think the committee needs to focus on in the upcoming session?
Well, transportation is one of the big issues in the legislature this next session. It's been a big one for a long time to be able to address our crumbling infrastructure and make sure that there's safe transportation for people. Well, this next session, it will be around transportation, and that's where I'm the lead ranking Democrat on. And it will also be around the bonding bill and our infrastructure. So basically, our infrastructure is going to be probably the spotlight this next year. I don't have control over what bills get heard and what gets passed, but I do have control of advocating for things that are really important to my community, and that's being able to have transportation no matter what mode of transportation you use, so that you can safely get to your jobs, get to your school, and those types of things. And that could be in a car, it could be in a bus, it could be on a bike, it could be walking. And so safety for all modes of transportation is super important. And then whether somebody is young or somebody is elderly and they are no longer driving because it's not safe for them to drive, we need to make sure that throughout people's lives they have the opportunity to move about safely. So those are the kinds of things that I'm going to look at, and look at solutions that really help promote the health of individuals, the environment, and the economy, because that's what our transportation system helps with, and that is the vision of the state of Minnesota.
Are there any other issues you'd like to see addressed in 2018?
Well, as I mentioned, the bonding bill, that's an important bill for our state. It keeps people in good jobs and good wages, and it helps keep our infrastructure safe as well as in good repair, so that it's not crumbling and then we're paying for it later. And Minnesota has had a really good bond rating, and we're wise with our use of money, and so it's important that we work on getting a good bonding bill passed for the state of Minnesota.